So we have a ring that moves and it prints out its rotation. Cool. What is this doing? What does this mean? What do we do with this? Let's go ahead and add in our player. To do that, we're going to go to FAB.com. Now, log in if you're not logged in already, and then go to your search bar and just type in spaceship. Go to price, set this to free, and you'll see a bunch of different spaceships that you could use. Now, this sci-fi spaceship one right here, this multicolored one, these are just files you can download and you can manually import into Unreal, which we learned how to do in a previous video. But let's learn about how to import through FAB directly. So we're going to work with this modular spaceships one. Open this up and click add to my library or something like that, whatever that is. Add to your library. And then you can actually close FAB.com. And then open up your Epic Games launcher, go to your library tab, and scroll down to see FAB library. Click this refresh FAB items, and once that's done, the spaceship will show up as an option for you. Once that's done, and this is back to being the full yellow, we can search for spaceship, and there it is. Go and click add to project, and then you select the project you want to add it to. So add it to your impulse control, click add to project, and let that download. Once that's done, let's see if it worked. I'm going to go to my content drawer, content folder, and we have a new folder here for Star Sparrow. Let's open that up. What do we have? We have blueprints, maps, materials, meshes, and textures. Let's go to maps. And here we have a Star Sparrow level. This map is a showcase of what's included in this asset we just got. Let's go ahead and open that up. Now that may take longer for yours to work the first time because I already had this open to test, but eventually it will load to this map. This map has all the different spaceships, all the different assets they include here. There's a ton of different pre-built models to work with. There's also the different parts you can work with. Find one that you like. Even if you don't like the color, I'll show you how to change the color later and show you how to modularize everything. Find one that you like, and I'm going to stick with this first one right here, Star Sparrow 1. I'll use this one. You can pick a different one if you want. Back to my content drawer, back to my content folder, maps, test map. Open that back up. All right, now with that back, let's go ahead and add in our mesh. Go back to my content drawer, and I'm going to go to the Star Sparrow folder. And I don't actually want to import a blueprint. I want to work with a mesh. So I'll double click meshes, and I'll do examples. And here are all those spaceships that we can work with. I'm going to stick with this SM Star Sparrow 1. Notice, see that SM there? They use the same naming convention. This means this is a static mesh. I'll drag that into my scene, and I can see what I'm working with. And I'm working with a really big spaceship. This is already textured, where it has materials and images applied to the mesh to make it look like it's actually metal, and the colors are set. And we'll learn about how to customize the material later. But for now, we have our static mesh in here. But this isn't really what we want to be here. This is a static mesh and not a blueprint. But now that I know which one I want to work with, good to go. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And let's create our blueprint. Go to your content drawer, content folder, open up blueprints, and right click blueprint class. And this is going to be a pawn. We'll call it BP underscore spaceship. And open that up. I'll dock this here at the top so it's easy to work with. Now, just like with the ring, we need to apply that static mesh. We need to add that there. I'm going to show you a different way of doing it. Go to my content drawer and go back to the folder that has the spaceship I want to work with. And I'm just going to drag that onto my BP spaceship self. And it is now added that there. Take this and drag this onto the default scene root to make that the scene root. And we now have a spaceship. Compile and save. And now I'll drag this blueprint into my scene. Make sure I get the right one. I'm going to my content folder, blueprints, and BP spaceship. Drag that in. Now, the spaceship is way too big. Or maybe the ring's too small. Depends on your perspective. I think it's too big for what we want. We may change the size of it later. So to do that though, let's go to BP spaceship with a SM Star Sparrow selected with the mesh selected. It's important you have that selected. Go to scale and change it to, I'll do 0.1 on all axes. And save, let's see how that looks. And there we go. That's a lot more manageable. Press play and, well, we added a character, but we're not controlling the character. That's not right. That's not what we want. Well, before we get to that though, I want to get rid of that message there. It's distracting. I'm going to go to my ring, grab my print string that I made earlier, delete these, compile and save. So we have our spaceship in our scene, but we can't control it yet. We're not doing anything to it. It's not really what we want. Well, this is because we need to change our world settings to use this as our main character. First step for that, let's go ahead and quickly add a project. And I'm going to search for player start. There we go. And I'll drag that into our scene. This is going to be where the player starts. I'll put that down on the ground for right now. Press play. And that is where my camera starts now. I take this player start node and move it over to the side and up. Press play. I now start there. But our camera isn't supposed to be the player. The ship's supposed to be the player. Change that. We need to go to our window. Scroll down till we get to world settings. And here we have different game modes and different things we can change. I'm going to expand out the selected game mode and I can see, well, we have our default pawn class, HUD class, player controller, game state, player state, spectator class. Okay. How do we change those? So we need to create a game mode override. I needed to expand my view so I could see the whole thing. But next to this game mode override, I have this little plus button. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to have my blueprints folder selected and I'm going to name this GM _ my game mode. Save that. And now we can modify different settings. We can set our default pawn class. Well, for that, I'm going to select default pawn and change that to BP spaceship. That is now going to be our main character. Press play. And I can't do anything. I can't move anymore. Oh no. Well, you can't even see our spaceship. If I press play and I eject, I can see that my spaceship, I now have two of them there. And this spaceship is the player. It's just that we don't have a camera on this, so we can't actually see the spaceship when we're playing. Let's go ahead and fix that. Go to BP spaceship. And let's add in a camera. So I'm going to go to component, add camera, and then drag that in, and I'll call that camera. And this is going to be the camera for our game. This will let us see our character if we set it up right. I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag the camera back and then up. And now let's see how that looks. Compile and save. Our blueprint now has a camera attached to it. You can see the blueprint that we added there as an example, as a test thing, now has a camera pointed at it. And you can see that in our scene. When we press play, that'll go away. Press play, and we now can see our spaceship. It's not moving or doing anything, but we can see it. Not quite what we want to work with though. So let's go ahead and take our camera and let's rotate this down along Y. It was pointing down, and then we'll raise it up a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And you can see that we have a test view there. Still too much behind. I want more above. The angle's wrong. Let's try -15. That'll work for now. Go and save and compile. And we now have a camera pointed at our player. Other blueprint that we created, I'm going to go ahead and delete this. We don't need that there. It's going to actually just create a new blueprint, or create a copy of it rather, in our game when we press play. So we don't need to have this default one there. So I'm going to get rid of that. And just know that wherever our player start object is where our player is going to start. So take that and position it over and set it up so it's more or less in front of the ring, so we can see it in our view as we go. There we go. That's going to be it for this one.